Turn this shit on. Oh, shit on, shit off. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Rob Banks. I'm here with Baz as always, and we have an awesome special guest for you guys tonight. Shouts to the people that are already in the stream. We got Noble Young, Mike is nerdy, Jay Belk. Everyone's all the regulars are back in the bar. The Friday Night Cheers crew. And anyways, we are here with artist, creator extraordinaire Sean Sweeney. This was a somebody reached out to me on Facebook. One of you guys, Mike, pretty much reached out to me. So shout outs to Mike and said, you got to get this guy on. I'm supporting his Indiegogo. It's Oddity, right? The Oddity, the name of the comic is what? Oddity, Madness in the Marsh?
Madness in the Marsh, yep.
Nice. And so we're going to give it away to Sean to give us a breakdown of it. We're going to share his Indiegogo as he's talking. And then we're going to get into some cool, he's got some stories. This guy's got stories for days. So give it away. Go ahead, Sean, take it away.
Okay, well, Oddity is a book I started. Well, I started the creation of this character back in high school. I'd always draw this weird frog character, whatever. And over the years, it developed into the character that you see now on my Indiegogo. And when I was younger, I loved Spider-Man. I loved how he was like this elastic character, always fun poses and stuff. And I always thought, like, what's an animal that I could incorporate with a character that could portray these things, but he's not a spider, and it's just a different take on it. And of course, like a frog, I was like, you got to have a frog character. I mean, they're cool little animals. So that's where I developed this character originally, and I always loved the thematic elements of Spider-Man, and like how you got the super genius that becomes the superhero and all this stuff. But I was like, when I was a teenager, I was a goofball. Like, I was a complete lunatic, and I thought about creating a character that he's not this super smart guy. He's a degenerate kid, like I was, or like a lot of us were, and he gets thrown into this position of power, and he has to learn to accept his fate, and basically, you know, uh, basically say, it's time to grow up. It's time to become, the hero that this place needs. Now, the swamp where he's based in is a swamp that it had like healing powers at one time. There was a lot of ritual going on there, and it became this sacred land. And now it's been contaminated because the contamination goes back to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Swamp Thing, Toxic Avenger, Toxic Crusaders. This was all big stuff when I was a kid growing up, and I always latched onto it, and I loved those elements. Like, I thought it was so much fun. So
I saw that too when I was checking out the pages. It kind of like felt like a little dash of this, dash of that.
I took all the things I loved and I tweaked them, and I tried to create something that I loved and that hopefully other people would love. And so that's basically where Oddity came from. But this goofball ends up becoming basically the savior of the swamp, the guardian of the swamp, and he needs to take control of his actions and become the savior of it. And when he begins, he's a goofball, and he doesn't take things seriously, and a result of that, it's kind of like his Uncle Ben moment. He doesn't live up to his responsibilities, and it unleashes madness within the swamp and the local town surrounding it. So if you see the little the fly, well, he's not little, he's like a giant mutated fly. He's
Right.
kind of Jiminy Cricket, and they're kind of like, they go at each other a lot throughout the book, and they're always button heads and stuff. And the fly is trying to teach him how to harness his powers and to become, the savior of the swamp that he needs to be. Now, I threw in a lot of nods to like 80s horror. As you see here, he's eating the maggots. out of there. It was kind of a nod to like Lost Boys.
I was just gonna say, is that like the Lost Boys nod right there? That's cool.
Exactly.
Good shit.
I always loved 80s horror is like one of my favorite things. It's just, it's over the top, it's silly, fun stuff, and it's gory. So there's definitely going to be some gory moments in the book, and I mean over the top fun stuff. And yeah, it's just kind of like a throwback to the 80s, and there's a lot of paranormal stuff thrown in here, cryptozoology type stuff. As you see in that the TV on the side, I've got like a homage to the late Art Bell. Like I base this character off him. Or
Oh, I love Art Bell, man.
yeah, so like
Coast to Coast.
exactly, exactly. Like that's stuff I always listened to when I was in college. I'd be up late, working on projects and stuff, and I'd listen to like mentally ill people talk about, you know, getting things shoved in their butts and stuff like that. And it was, by aliens, and so yeah, it's a fun, goofy book. Just a fun read. And I stray away from slamming people in the head with politics or anything like that. None of that's within this book. It's just fun old comic book stuff that hopefully people will dig. And
does he have a main villain?
Yes, the main villains. If you scroll down in this book, so this is a 48-page graphic novel that's starting off, and this kind of throws you right into the mix of the story. Like it just puts you right into the world, and what he actually maybe the villains are a little farther up, but the villains are two mutated rednecks from they're townies. They might be farther up. It should be on the page, or maybe it's not. I don't know why it's not loaded up on there. It should be on there. I put all that stuff up there today.
That's a dope shot. Yeah, boy.
Well, yeah, this is a commission that I had done by a South African artist, and she delivered. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, exactly.
What's cool about what I'm seeing with this independent comic, Indiegogo, Kickstarter type stuff, a lot of you guys kind of, since you're running in a lot of the same circles, you'll get like a cover by one guy, or
Yes.
you guys kind of collaborate a lot,
within the community. Yeah, the group, we hire each other to do different jobs, like sketch cards. That's a big thing that we do for each other. Covers, alternate covers, pinups, stuff like that. We reach out to each other, and we've just been building each other up and kind of creating our own niche within comics. And some of the campaigns are really taking off. I mean, we got guys that have never released a comic before, and they're reaching 60, 70,000 on their
That's
first.
awesome. I try to tell a lot of the independent people that I meet and run along that I haven't done this stuff for. I'm like, you got to check out Kickstarter. I mean, me and you were talking earlier about Nicole Jelinek, who does it. What does she do, Baz? That horror comic she does. She does like a once a year kind of Tales from the Crypt type horror comic. And I was like, yo, you got to get. She's like, this stuff isn't cheap, and I'm like, you got to get crowdfunded, man. But it's all part, I guess, running in that circle and kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of growing going on within the movement, and we're just all trying to help each other out, and we all promote each other's books, and rising tides lift all boats. So like,
that's right.
There's a giant book out there, and it's doing well. Like those guys sit there and they put out tweets, and they promote the smaller guys. And not a few years ago, it was unheard of to see independent books getting made with so much money behind them. And now it's to the point where like you put out a good product and people dig it, like your book's going to get funded. Like
yeah. That's awesome.
People and stuff. So a lot of awesome stuff. Yeah. So
you got Skyver to do a cover, huh?
Yeah. He. I didn't ask him or anything. I put my work out there, and other people on Twitter and stuff were they started tagging him in it, and he contacted me. Or no, one follower asked him if he would lend the rights to Cyberfrog to me so that I could do like a Cyberfrog Oddity mashup, like a jam cover or something.
That's cool.
And he contacted me, never talked to the guy before or anything, and he's like, "Yeah, that I'm so down." Yeah, exactly. It's a sweet book, dude. Yeah, and the cover, it's a throwback to the '90s.
Get the chromium.
the chromium cover. It's really awesome. It's great stuff, and just phenomenal art throughout it. But yeah, he contacted me and he's like, "How about this? How about I draw Cyberfrog and you draw your character?" And I'm like, yeah, like of course, like that's awesome." So yeah, he reached out and you know offered to draw half a
That's
cover.
gotta feel great, right? Like having like me and Baz are big fans of Ethan from way back when. We met him a couple of times. I think Baz met him a couple of times. I met him once. He was one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the industry. And
Yeah.
we've met some people in the industry where we dead up wanted to knock their fucking lights out. But
I'm sure.
but
It,
yeah, he was man fucking cool, and it's got to feel really nice to have somebody that's established take notice, right? And I feel
it,
like
it really is.
invigorating. You know, you're onto something.
I mean, it's like say you go to a concert and it's like ah, this is probably an exaggeration, of course, but like you're watching Clapton play guitar up on stage, and he's like, "Why don't you come up and jam with me?" And you're like, "Sure," like of course. There's like there's definitely some validation in there and stuff, and it was just an awesome move on his behalf, and it really helped out with the campaign so far, and so I can't really complain. Like a lot of people have big dreams of doing their own book, and it never happens. So we got funded uh, in probably like 40 hours. We we raised $3,000 for the book to be made, and I was that was enough for me. But then it just kept adding on, like more money kept coming in, and it was amazing. It was a it all of it's just really cool to see, and you know I I'm kind of speechless when it really comes down to it. It's insane that so many people are.
When is it supposed to come out? Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So this is if actually if you go down below this real quick, these are the villains within the book. So of course you see some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle influence in there, and
Yeah,
then his arch nemesis is the orange poison dart frog right here.
nice.
So these are two degenerate townies that got mutated, and so that's where it goes into the book. These are the two main focuses on.
So
Or
for
the main,
48 pages, though, and 48 pages is kind of like your standard comic is how many pages? 22 to 32 pages.
yeah.
So at
this would be
48, this is like a double issue, roughly, right? And
Well, it's 32. I think it's 32, but it's like 10 of them are ads or
Ads and
something.
shit,
So
right?
22. Yeah.
The
So
are you able to get like how do you approach the story? Like, is this an origin story for our hero?
no,
Are we already knee deep in the story when the comic opens?
no. The way I planned it was so. This is my first book. I have no clout to my name or anything. No one knows who I am in the industry, nothing like that. I'm just a nerd that likes to draw comics in my spare time. So my thinking was, if I'm going to release a book, um, I'm going to release it, and the original or the first book is going to put you right into the action, right into the fun stuff.
Right.
And people love origin stories, of course, and but I was like, I want it to be action packed to really hook the viewers and customers and get them excited about this. And then in the second volume of the book, then we'll leak in the origins of how everything came about. but I really wanted to hook people with an exciting, action-packed book to begin with. So the first 48 pages kind of throws you right into the mix. Like you you see what the world's like, you get a good idea of what the whole story will be like, but the origins are all kind of obscure at this point. Like the second book will be more based on the origins, and then I plan on doing a third volume, and that will tie everything together in a nice little package, so that at the end of the 3 books that'll be released, you'll be satisfied and everything will make sense and everything. But yeah, for the first book, just wanted to make it exciting. I wanted it to have a lot of fun, action-packed scenes and get people hooked and get people questioning, what's going on, how did this happen to this character? Where is this character from?
Will he be related to Palpatine, or is his parents nobody?
All right.
That's all I want to know. Let me know now.
It will all be shown eventually. But yeah, I'm not going to just,
Don't string us along, JJ.
Yeah, did he basically admit he doesn't know what he's doing? He knows how to write an ending and nothing else, or something.
So when am I getting this? Because I'm pledged already. I think
okay, so the due date for delivery is in March. So we
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's coming up close. So if you go down, I also did for a living. I'm a 3D modeler. I create models and sculpts. So this is like basically like a kit right here, a model kit that you can get, and you'll have an option to either have it come in pieces with the directions of how to put it together. This base all comes apart here, and there's all these separate pieces, and you can paint it yourself. This is the prototype here, by the way. But
right.
Yeah, there'll be an option to either put it together on your own and paint it however you like it, or you can get it actually all put together and painted by me. The actual finals will be painted or will be printed in full color, and then I'm going in to do like some fine painting, little detail work and stuff. But yeah, it's just it's another tier that we added on for people that enjoy toys and models and stuff like that. So
when is it closed, or is this an open ongoing project? Like when is the close date on the project?
It was in demand. Well, it is in demand now, so people can still pledge hop on, and there's a couple of the models left, but besides that, we sold out on a lot of stuff. There's some original art here still left, but yeah, we're looking at March to get it printed and sent out. So there's still a bit of work left to do. One thing that people always harp on comicsgate projects is that they're late, and I mean it is an issue. Like the things need to be on time. The only thing I have to say is a lot of these guys have never done a large scale project before, and they overestimate on how fast they can produce their product and when they can get it out there. And I've backed several projects, and they'll send you an update and say maybe it's not going to hit this date, whatever. That never really bothers me as long as they keep updating, like that they're doing the work and it's getting done. Then I can get past all that. There have been a few people that within crowdfunding in general, where they promise you this date and then you never get an update, and like months will go by and you won't hear or see any progress on the product or anything. And that's
some just abandoned the project too. Like
there are people
for years.
There are people that just, and this isn't like just independent comic book artists. There's mainstream comic artists that have created giant campaigns and made, you know, close to $100,000, and they just abandoned it, and no one hears anything about it.
Rob Liefeld.
He's one, yeah. Now, but look, I got a stack right here. This is all comicsgate stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got Lone Star, Jawbreakers. The second Jawbreakers is out. This is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I got Graveyard Shift. That's coming soon. So it's it comes out.
Yeah, definitely. And with my book, so like you buy in at like the $25 tier, which gets you the original cover, and then it gets you the 3 prints that you saw below, the one with the big tits, and then you get so yeah, if you go up, so sorry, down. No, it's a little difficult to. Okay, so that's one print, the monster. That was done by another artist right here, Donald DeLay. He's done work for Image and stuff. So these are all comicsgate characters. And then this was done by my buddy that I went to college with. He's an artist for. Well, he was an artist for Adventure Time, if you remember that show a few years ago. So he did that. That's a pinup right there, and then Matt Houston. And then this pinup here by Sashi, which people love because obvious reasons. And then and then
that's a female artist, right? Sashi, she's a girl.
Artist, yep. And then if we hit 15K, I've got these enamel pins that I created. And so everyone will get those. So for the $25, you get basically a double issue comic, and then you get those 3 pinups, and then you get this enamel pin here. And the more money we raise, the more stretch goals we hit, the more stuff you get. So at the end of the day, yeah, $25 is expensive for a comic, of course. But then you're getting all these other things thrown in. We've got trading cards as well that will be thrown in the pack. So at the end of the day, you end up getting a bunch of swag, as the kids say, to go along.
One floppy is like $5 nowadays. So.
Yeah, it's $5. You get a bunch of ads. You get, depending on what company, the art's between okay, mediocre most of the time. So, and you're buying into helping independent artists. Like, we don't have all these giant corporations throwing in ads to our books. That's another thing that a lot of people don't look at. Like, when you're going through a Marvel or DC book, like, you're getting ads for, anything from video games to God knows what. And that makes it all cheaper for them to produce the comic. And with indies, you don't have that option. Like, we're basically paying for this all, and we're asking for people to donate money and jump on board with it. And
well, I said this when we did the show with Billy Tucci. I was like, you guys want to support directly to the artist without the middleman, and this is the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? This is like, and we had spoken earlier about getting a key into like the mind of the actual artist itself, doing stuff like this. So obviously anybody in the chat that wants to ask a question, now's your time. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the forever hold your peace bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Ask away. So
yeah, but also, like, I'm on Twitter and I interact directly with the buyers. And so, like, if I'm posting stuff up and they have questions and stuff, like, my DMs are always open. We talk freely with each other, and I like to hear back from people what they like, what they don't like about the book. With mainstream comics, you can't do that. You can't just sit there and ask an artist to change things around, because it's not up to him. Like, this is, you get good art, you get direct interaction with the artist, and it's a cool thing that's going on right now.
Yeah. No, I like it. I know Baz is. I just supported. Well, not just. It was back last year, but I just got it a couple of months ago. The Zombie Sama from Billy. I haven't even had a chance to read it yet. I'm in that's once the winter comes, my job puts my life upside down. But I'm gonna dig into that eventually.
Sure. I got a question. Trevor McGuire asked if that's a Rudis sweatshirt. Yes, it is. Rudis is a wrestling company based here in Columbus, and I get all their apparel. Yeah.
It's awesome.
That you notice that, Trevor. Most people wouldn't, but
there you go. It's cool, man. It's this fucking small world. Oh, Baz, by the way, Jesus is watching, bro. Jesus Marquez. Jesus, I know you're listening, bro. Here's, you got to get involved in this shit too. Sean, Jesus is he does like Topps cards from like freelance, like through Marvel and stuff, and he's like a cartoonist and stuff. And I know that, like, I've interviewed him a few times, and he's been on the show, and I was like, you got to get involved in this crowdfunding shit. So
yeah, definitely hit me up on Twitter. My screen name on here is my Twitter handle, so just at @Sweens_07. Hit me up, send me a DM, and we can talk a little bit. I'll show you the ropes of some of this stuff, and get you involved.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So do you go on, like, what YouTube shows do you go on? Do you broadcast on your own channel?
Well, my writer, who's actually in the chat right now, he's dealing with some of the questions that are going on in there. He runs a show. We do that together. It's very, it's very laid back, fun stuff. Mostly goofing around, talking about, current events going on in the world, or what pop culture, all that stuff. We just goof around with it. And then within comics, like within the comicsgate bubble, there's so many random shows that I show up on. I've been on Ethan's stream a couple times. That's always fun, and you always get a nice bump in your campaign when you go on there. I mean, you get a bunch of views, and you'll see that. And, it's really about the one thing about indie comics and like getting things funded is like you can have the most beautiful art and the greatest story written, and it will make no money unless you go out there and put yourself out there and promote your book. Like, there's no way you're going to make money just by posting and hoping that people see it and like it. That's a small portion of it. Most of it is going on streams, within the community, outside the community, just getting eyes on your project. The more eyes that see it, the better you're going to be. And you got to, like, I'm an introverted person. I hate doing streams for the most part, but with a few drinks and a set of questions, like you can get past it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets until you're comfortable with your online presence and stuff like that.
And that's just fun, right? It's just like hanging out.
It is like you're talking about what you're passionate about. So I don't, you just gotta get past being an introvert or living in your mom's basement and come out.
Somebody said the other day that, like, this is like the virtual version of like hanging out in the comic shop.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It's cool. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy this stuff to no end. And I mean, it's a ton of work. Like making a book, and the thing is, like, I'm drawing it. I do pencils, ink, and color. So like all the art's basically on me. I hired a writer for the story, and that's the only person I really hired on for it. I mean, we've got a letterer coming on eventually. Originally, I was going to do the lettering, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, I can do the lettering, but we've got to hit a deadline. We have to get this book done, and lettering is something you don't want to rush. Like, you don't want to just throw the letters out there. Like, it has to be done well. And so we've got Eric Weathers, he did Jawbreakers, the lettering for Jawbreakers and stuff. So he's on board with us, so he'll be doing all the lettering, and and he's in comicsgate as well. We all just kind of work together with this stuff, so it's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
It's cool. All right, so we spoke about Oddity, so everybody go and get up on that campaign. But I was talking to Sean earlier, and he had said something about having some pretty interesting stories, some cool stuff. He had mentioned that his dad used to work for Kenner. This is mostly an action figure review channel / we talk about collectibles and shit like that. So I'm going to throw it back in his thing. What did your dad do for Kenner, man? Give us some juice. Give us a cool story.
So I was born in '83. My dad started working at Kenner in late '70s. He was one of the first guys to work on the Millennium Falcon and all the Star Wars line and stuff. And so while he was working there, what was it? I was probably like 3 or 4. One of my first memories at Kenner was him taking me and my siblings down there, and they gave us a grocery cart because it was at the Kroger's building. And I don't know why there's a Kroger's grocery cart there, but there was in Cincinnati. And so we started going through like the warehouse of Kenner, and we'd make all these stops to different areas where they're loading up toys. And we'd get to pick out all the toys we wanted and throw them in a grocery cart. Yeah. And by the end of it, we just had this grocery cart, full of Star Wars and all sorts of Rainbow Bright, My Little Pony, all this stuff was loaded up in there. And so that was like my childhood. But then when I got older, I'd get to go down there and I'd see a lot of the art, like production art being made up in different areas. And then I'd see sculptures being made, and I just really gravitated towards this stuff. Like I thought it was amazing. So it kind of like got me into drawing and sculpting and stuff at a young age. And I get to talk to these artists and all this stuff. And I draw pictures for my dad. He'd put them up in his office and give them to other people in the office. And they, one time a woman asked if she could take some of the pictures I was drawing and take them to her friend that was a child psychologist, because she thought my drawings were a little insane. Because some of them had they were like skulls with daggers in them and stuff, just fun stuff.
Normal stuff.
Exactly, yeah. Normal stuff.
That's how I get it.
Draw. So yeah, and she took them to a psychologist, and they're like, "Yeah, it's normal stuff. The kid just draws very detailed, and all that stuff." But growing up within, going through Kenner and seeing all this stuff was it really propelled me into getting into drawing and sculpting and toy making eventually. And one of the funnier things was when I was about 7 or 8, I was in my parents' basement. I was just like, I don't know what I was looking for, but I found this box, okay? And within the box were every single original Star Wars toy, like in the plastic, everything. And I was a kid, so
so that story didn't end well.
I was
so much for paying off your mortgage.
Yeah, dude, I opened the box and I started just pulling figures out, and I started losing all these pieces to the figures, and then I'd take the figures outside, and we had like black hat, firecrackers in the garage.
I was gonna make a joke about firecrackers.
So
yeah. And you actually did it.
Yeah, so I took all these old figurines, and a lot of them never made it out to the market, man. Like a lot of these guys, there's the small and tall Snaggletooth. I think it was, I don't know which one was the one that was really rare. I blew him up. I burned.
Yeah, the snaggletooth. Yeah, that's like the most rarest one. That's
Yeah.
worth thousands.
Uh-huh.
Now he's even more rare.
I burned those dudes. We had the Boba Fett with the rocket launcher on the back.
Oh my god, bro.
I destroyed all that stuff as a kid. Just lost. I know. Looks like you're about to cry.
I lost the rest of my hair listening to this story.
It was not good. And yeah.
That's
So,
awesome though, because that makes for a really cool story to kind of like, you know, you freak people out with that shit nowadays. Like, yeah, you know, look,
Yeah.
I had access to all this shit as a kid.
it was definitely, I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but when I got older and my dad's like, yeah, all that stuff you burned and blew up, like, could have put you through college. And
Unfreaking believable. Well, look, you know what though? It got you around. You had mentioned sculpting, right? Now,
Yeah.
didn't you like sculpt like for The Walking Dead or something, or you did something with Rick and Morty? Like,
I did, so I worked as a 3D digital sculptor, and I worked for this company here in Columbus, and we work with a bunch of licenses. So like they'd give us 2D assets, and then I would sculpt from them. It did eventually become anything in beverageware to like little collectible miniature toys, whatever. A bunch of stupid stuff, really. But it was a good job to just learn where I stand when it comes to sculpting. Because when you do like a digital sculpt, you send it out, and the licensor sees it, and they have to write off and be like, okay, this is good enough for our license. Like if it's not, they send you back very harsh criticism. And like and the truth is Marvel and DC were the easiest to get approved. They were very easy. I mean, as long as it looked good, they were cool with it. If it looked a little off model, but the design was good, they would let that slide. When it comes to the Japanese and a lot of anime, those guys are harsh. Like if you didn't nail like every angle, like they would just rip you apart. Like every time, they would just deny you.
Hmm.
A lot of it, like you know, I'm not real big into anime or anything like that, and I think a lot of the designs are kind of silly, but they would, I mean, if you went off model just a little bit, they would just tear you apart. they would just, they would.
they wonder why people are throwing themselves out of fucking windows over there.
Yeah, right, exactly, died at their deaths. And then besides that, what's his name? John Krasinski from The Office.
Yeah.
Played Jim. Yeah. Total dick. Like we would, me and my partner, we had to do head sculpts of different characters from The Office, and everyone else first try nail it. The thing is, they own their likeness, so they have to write off on it. So we sent it to him, and dude, I don't know how many tries it took until he eventually was like, okay, this is good enough.
Yeah, but what did it get produced into?
Like bobbleheads or something like that, something silly.
Right, yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of people don't understand like the what goes into like characters and actors and stuff who own their own licenses. For instance, Mezco had this Batman that dropped this week, right? And it was the Michael Keaton Batman. It's like $130 when it's all said and done and shipped and stuff. It was like $110. A lot of people were like, that's bullshit for a 6-inch action figure. It's ridiculous. I'm like, yo, first of all, Keaton's likeness costs like a ridiculous amount of money, and they showed this over a year ago, and they're like, why didn't it go up? Why didn't it go up? And it's probably because he's sitting there going, nope, try it again. You know, and I know that Jack Nicholson's a motherfucker too when it comes to that. He's like impossible to get. He wants like
this would be so easy to capture because he's got those eyebrows and the smile. You know, you would think it'd be easy to hit, but some of them are sensitive. We really think the thing with John Krasinski was like he was rebranding himself into like an action hero at the time, and
Right.
we don't think he wanted this like big goofy looking.
I mean, he looks like fucking Snoopy anyway. Like when you look at him, I don't. Listen. If I ever meet the guy, I'll be like, "Hey, man, sorry. Cool."
Yeah,
But
he's playing Jack Ryan now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's a
Tom Clancy.
he's a superhero now.
And now, like, I see a lot of fan art like that's trying to promote him to be Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
he's got a good face for that.
See
I
that.
mean,
I could see that over him being Jack Ryan, or this burly, one of those type of action heroes. A funny thing about the likeness thing, I mean, I don't think this will get me in trouble or anything, but Val Kilmer. So when Kenner, it was right before they were bought out by Hasbro, which happened like '98 or something. Val Kilmer, when he was Batman.
You're talking about for the Batman Forever line?
Yeah, when they did the original sculpt of Val Kilmer, so they had to fly out to LA. They have a meeting with him, and they show him the sculpt, and this is the original sculpt, and he's looking at it. They hand it to him. He's looking at it. He's like really dramatic about it, of course, and he's walking back and forth. And I heard this from sculptors from Hasbro that I talked to personally. He's walking back and forth in the office looking at it. And he just looks at him and he takes it and smashes the sculpt on the ground.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, just trashed it right in front of him.
I love that. No words.
No words.
Just fuck your mold.
Looking at it and just takes it and smashes it on the ground. Like, no respect at all for
That's crazy, man.
the amount of hours that they put into that. But yeah.
Oh my god. It's I don't know, man. Hearing that, it's like when actors get like that, or people just in general. Like, I got this thing sent to me. A fucking company sent this shit to me and was like, "Yo, we want to make a bobblehead of you and have you promoted on the channel. It's going to be free. Here, just take it and send us some pictures." It doesn't look that much like me, like me at all. But I just think it looks cool because someone, thought to go and make a bobblehead of me.
That's cool.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's awesome." I'm not going to take this and go and just smash it off the wall.
I mean,
he's probably really vain.
Sure.
Yeah, I've heard he's hard to work with. He has a big ego and shit.
I can't imagine anything else. I mean, who would just take something like that and smash it? And then when I don't know if you guys saw that Kronk thing, the football player on New Year's Eve, when he took the Steve Harvey Lego portrait of him and smashed it.
Oh wow, yeah, Gronkowski you're talking about, right?
God, yeah, that was very cringe, dude. That was awful.
You ever see the what was it? What's his name? Harrison Ford did that to his hot toy, I think. And then another time he took a Lego Millennium Falcon and destroyed it.
Yeah, somebody that's crazy. So on the what show was it? One of the late night shows. They were like, "Oh, so when you were filming The Force Awakens, we hear he had that helicopter accident or something where like he broke his leg or something like that." Mm-hmm. And they had the hot. Are you familiar with Hot Toys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's got like the hot toy of Han Solo, and they're like, "So what was it like?" And he's like pointing to the doll, and he's like, "This is what happened." And he just grabs the leg and snaps it. And they were like, "Yo, you just snapped this dude's this dude's fucking leg, bro."
Oh my god.
Yeah, man. And then his smashing the Falcon thing is just ridiculous. It's like, come on, bro. That's like 40 hours worth of fucking time right there, man.
They don't care. They're so vain, but whatever. Now, Hot Toys, do they still just do traditional sculpting on their toys?
I'm pretty sure they do. I know that like they have a team of sculptors that actually sit there with like, I guess whatever that is, that clay stuff before it gets molded with the resin and all that, and they sit there and they carve away at it and they show updates and shit online and they paint it.
See, nowadays, like with digital sculpting, I mean, you can literally scan someone and you get their image as a 3D model, like right off the bat. There's no time really to put into it for an artist to resculpt the stuff or anything like that.
I wonder what that would be like though, in terms of like, because I know that like they do that a little bit with the smaller action figures. So if you blew the 6-inch ones, but if you blew that up and you use the technology for like a Hot Toys head, I wonder how that would work. I wonder how that would, lend itself to being more accurate, or maybe the skin would be maybe more smooth and stuff, because they really go in there and they put like, you got dimples, you got pock marks, like they're in there carving at that shit, man.
I don't know, like I can't say how they do things. I mean, with me, I just had to take photo references, and I was in a small company. It wasn't like Hot Toys or
Right. Which is weird, because if you're doing that for, let's say, that guy Krasinski's, and it's like, dude, I scanned an image of your fucking face. What do you want me to do? Come to your house and just show you like,
dude, honestly, like unless they sign off on it, I don't think there's any way around it. Like,
yeah.
And we saw like previous sculpts of him that were awful. They were just garbage, and those were signed off on. Those were, I mean, that was during while the show was still on and stuff like that, before he kind of recreated himself into a new an action star or whatever. We think that's really what it came down to, was like he didn't want himself being out on the shelves portrayed as this goofball from The Office anymore. So
right.
yeah, I mean,
I've never seen him act. Is he charismatic at all?
He's all right. He was in The Quiet Place. Then again, he didn't even have any lines.
It was,
yeah, I mean,
he had to be
was
quiet,
married to,
right?
my favorite girl in Hollywood. Well, my second favorite girl in Hollywood.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, the chick from Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh God, I love her. I always forget her name too for some fucking reason. I always forget just her name, man. Whatever it is, what it is.
I don't got it.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. But I mean, I can't blame him completely, because if it's your image and you're trying to portray a new type, like you want yourself to be portrayed as now an action star, it's to me it was just a job. Like,
right.
Really
I'm guessing they all have to sign off on that stuff too, though, because I've seen pictures of like who's the guy that played Watson Baza in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes?
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Yeah, I saw pictures of him at like the Hot Toy booth holding up like the hot toy of himself that they're doing, and he was like starry eyed and like smile from ear to ear and shit. I guess I would. Emily Blunt, that's the girl. How do you forget a name like Blunt?
Emily Smoker Blunt.
And like if I had like when I was given this, I was like flattered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not a world famous actor. So I guess
people get stupid stuff thrown at them all the time, and they're probably
imagine he like picked it up and he was like, "Is this what I look like to you?"
I'll tell you what, though, that story though about Val Kilmer, definitely, I don't know. It's like in hindsight, because that was like almost 20 years ago, or whatever. It's like in hindsight, that makes for such a great fucking story, though.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what he would do if he saw what he looks like now.
Oh,
and someone had to like license him now.
He's so fucked up. Dude, I think he has like a trachea or some shit.
Yeah.
He's fucked up. He wears like scarves now and shit to cover it. Poor guy.
Yeah, he's a mess.
But he was at what you call it? He was at that con we used to go to, Baz, over the summer, Terrificon, and they had him behind he was behind a thing. You couldn't get to him. You couldn't even see him. He was like covered in sheets, kind of like around him, like boxed in, and just sitting in there, and he would bring one person in at a time. Sign your shit and get the fuck out.
Well, that's ridiculous, man. So you couldn't even see him from a distance? Like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that at conventions too. Like they put like the celebrity guest all the way against the wall, and then like you have like this long friggin' way, like that's barricaded off. Like they're like 300 yards away.
Yeah,
that's
so
how they had Jason Momoa hidden behind tarps and everything, and you'd have to go
Oh,
ridiculous line to go see him. Like, I'm okay. You know, I'm not
Do
all.
you do you have anybody that you fanboy out over?
Oh,
Would
well, as far as artists go, it would be God. Well, Frazetta, but he's dead, so I can't really do too much with that. I always loved Jim Lee, um, Silvestri, um, McFarlane. I would, even although the second I'd hear his voice, I'd probably start laughing.
he's goofy, right?
He's a complete goofball. Like you watch his videos, and he's like, yeah, like it's
there's a certain charm to it though. I
yeah.
love watching him go, look, guys, I got the new Superman figure. Yeah. Bam, pow, ain't that fun? It's like, yo, man, this guy grew up to be like I almost feel like I'm watching somebody from like 40 years ago try to sell me on an action figure or something, you know?
Yeah, he's such a goofball. Now, like
So
his,
those artists are your biggest influences that you mentioned.
yeah, and then Greg Capullo, I love him. I mean, he.
Oh, have you met?
No, I haven't. I've yet met him, but
I could see a little bit of his in your I didn't really stare at your art that much, but while we were doing it, I could definitely see a little bit of Capullo in there.
yeah, he slides on in there. But yeah, a lot of the original Image guys really influenced me because, I was like 10 when Image really started busting off, and those were the books I always gravitated towards as a kid. I loved the colors, the ink work, all the energy thrown into each page. Um, Even Liefeld, like it was so funny. I was looking through my art when I was a kid, like 10, 11 years old, and it was like a complete copy of Liefeld's work, and I was almost like, ugh, like, are you serious? Like that's what you're into as a kid, like. But as a kid, you just look at fun stuff, and
Dude, everybody was jacked, like on
exactly,
steroids. They had
exactly.
gritted teeth.
He looked like he was like he drew everybody like the Ultimate Warrior, right? From wrestling. Everyone was
Anatomy is so awful. Like everything about it is awful, but the energy is like really high in his art. Like
Yeah.
it was just like, some kid with ADD just, throwing lines everywhere. But it was very energetic and fun. So I can't, you know, I could definitely say I didn't learn how to draw feet from him or anything like that.
I don't think he didn't learn how to draw feet. So
I think he has a good sense of humor about that. People still bust on him about that, like, not drawing feet. And, his online persona is good though. Like he's, for the most part, he laughs about a lot of stuff, but can't agree with everything he's out there.
It had a certain style to it that was like it was something different. Like it was fun.
Exactly. But
a lot of the comic.
all those early Image guys, huge influence on me. Like, and I still go back to his books, and I love reading them and looking through them for nostalgia. But as far as like anatomy or like you know perspective and stuff like that, were you skateboarding? Yeah, I actually grew up skateboarding. It was one of the questions I saw down here or up here now. Yeah, I grew up skateboarding and just being a degenerate teenager, smoking weed, getting drunk.
Drinking 40s? What kind of 40s?
I didn't really drink 40s. What we would drink was Beast Ice. That's what we'd get. We get a 12-pack of Beast Ice and a pack of smokes. You could get both those for $5. As a teenager.
those days are gone.
Yeah, and we just go out and get lit up, and that's
Do you ever have a situation in your travels or amongst like whatever like that would they say there's like a saying like don't meet your heroes. You ever like run into somebody that's rubbed you the wrong way and you're like want to fucking smack this guy?
I
Baz knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to too many cons, honestly. I took my kids to one a few years ago, and it it was funny because like the only place my son wanted to go was to like the replica booth where they had like replica guns,
Mm-hmm.
and so he got like he was checking out all the. My son loves guns. I have no interest in guns for real. I think they're cool, but I never bought one or anything like that. My son gravitates right to them, and he's looking at all these replicas. And he's picking them up, he's holding them, like checking the. He was like, 2.5 at the time, checking them all out, and then finally he looks at this like 9mm, and he's like, "I want this one." I'm like, "Well, we're getting it. Screw it." So I bought replica 9mm. But anyways, on to meeting here. No, honestly, I don't want to meet a lot of people, like heroes or people I look up to or anything like that. Just not. They'll never live up to what's in my head.
Yeah.
So I just
When me and Baz met Burt Ward and Adam West, and they were like two class acts, man. That was like jaw on the floor, fucking awesome.
That's really cool though to hear something like that.
When we met Ethan, Ethan was great. Billy Tucci is friggin'
Billy
awesome.
Tucci, I'm waiting for him to invite me to dinner. This guy. As a matter of fact, he was like, "Yeah, we should get together and go to a movie sometime." I was like, I'm looking at my wife like, "Really?"
He's like soul of the earth type guy. Like, he's just Long Island, just straight. Like you get what you see. Like there's no bullshit. Like, he's a real cool guy. Like I've watched many streams with him. Well, I'm actually my writer and I are supposed to go on his show here soon. I look forward to talking to him because it just comes off as like a normal guy.
Yeah, and he's very happy and just loves what he does, and he's got a real passion for just like talking about anything too. When I had him on, we were talking about my great uncle was a World War II paratrooper, and he loves that shit. And he was because he was a paratrooper too during I think the Iraq War, and he was like, and I didn't even know that, and we kind of bonded on that, so that was pretty cool.
No, he's just a real dude. He like hunts and stuff like that.
Yep.
He's just like a cool guy. And I would meet him, or I will be, like, at least.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. This is some good shit. Well, look, man, give us all your handles, right? Where can we go and bust your nuts about this new comic?
Bust my nuts anytime. You can get me at Sweens_07 on Instagram and Twitter. I keep my DMs open, so you can come in and harass me or talk to me or learn more about the project. And the project's called Oddity. It's on Indiegogo, and give it a look. If it's something you like, support it or not. It's all up to you.
I'm gonna DM you 3 o'clock in the morning and just say, "What you doing?"
Do it.
With that face.
What's up?
You want a StreamYard?
Want to chat?
I will answer, because I'm usually up late at night drawing, so that's kind of like how it is.
You liked Art Bell, so you're a night owl too. So am I.
I do enjoy that. Yeah, I'm a total nerd.
Yeah, he passed away, right? Like how long ago did he die?
It's probably a year and a half or so.
I was gonna say about 3 years now.
Has it been? Oh, yeah, I loved his stuff, dude.
Oh, it was great.
John Teeter.
I remember. Oh yeah, the time traveler. And then every Halloween he'd do Ghost to Ghost, and it was all ghost stories all fucking night.
And now they got George Snorri running.
Snorri. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not my favorite, but
Face knows him, Baz.
Huh?
Face knows him.
George Snorri?
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't know him like he hangs out with him. Remember, Frankie does all that crazy shit too, man. He has the live show,
I don't think he knows George Snorri. I think it was somebody else.
I've
somebody
heard
else that he thought
a few times.
No, it's somebody else that he thought was George Snorri.
All right.
Yeah. So
listen, I don't know what people tell me. All right, so yeah, go follow Sweens. Join the Oddity Indiegogo. Contribute to this. This went pretty well. We'd like to have you back at any time. If you want to promote like a con appearance, if you just want to come on and bullshit and keep promoting the stuff, that's fine too.
Bullshit.
Yep, and you have another show you're doing, I think, later on tonight, right?
Yes, I am. I'm on. What is it? Mandy Summers.
What's up with that chick, bro? She's freaking smoking.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be on there later tonight, and I'll probably be hammered, so it'll be interesting to see.
What is that? Is it another YouTube? Is it another YouTube thing, or is it a podcast?
Yeah, it's this hot chick who does her own show. She has a lot of comicsgaters on.
Nice.
And she's pretty friggin' hot. Like, I'm waiting for the pics to come out. I'm waiting for the photo shoot.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So you're going to, what is it again? Mandy Summers?
Yeah. Yep.
I already did a Google search on her. There's nothing else.
Do a Google search. I wish I
did an image search.
wish I had the link. I'll throw it up on my my Instagram here in a little bit, or on my Twitter, and people can jump on there.
What's your Instagram?
Yeah. So.
Or I'll put it on Twitter. My Instagram and Twitter are the same. It's at Sweens_07.
Cool.
Yo, can you give us a shout out, bro? That'd be awesome.
I'll give you I'll give you guys a shout out on there. And before I go, I want to give a shout out to Mike is Nerdy. This dude has been supporting me for years now on Instagram, and I actually put him in the book because he's a
shit.
I just I appreciate people that support my work, and check him out on Instagram. He's at Mike is Nerdy, and he's got a little show on YouTube as well. And check
Mike is on his way to becoming a Red Cup OG. He's pretty much involved in a lot of the live shows and stuff. And this is the shit I'm talking about. This guy fucking contacts me during the week, and he's like, "Yo, man, you take requests to have somebody on the show?" So I was like, "Yeah, all right. Like, where's this going?" Because I always tell the people, go to Facebook. Yeah, I'll put the link up here in case anybody's watching. You could come and join our little group, me and Baz. And my wife actually runs the page, Facebook official Red Cup Review the Rebellion. And I'm like, you guys want to have requests for guests and shit for us to talk about in topics, because sometimes we run out of topics besides just toys all the time. Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, you should check this guy out." And I did, and I contacted you, and we hit it off, and it was great. So again, everybody, this is a fucking family here, man. So, you see how it works? This is great, man. I really enjoyed this.
Man. Yeah. And you guys got people coming in from the comicsgate realm. They're all up in your live chat right now.
Well, that's awesome.
We'll see, man. Like, comicsgate isn't a joke. Like, when they're into something, dude, they will support you 100%. And good people too.
That's fucking awesome, man. I can't. Well, then that's awesome. Hey, listen, everybody that's in the chat, obviously, nothing but love to you guys. Really appreciate it. That's really, really awesome.
Cecil is love, everyone.
All right, listen, I gotta get to work tonight, man. I gotta work in the fucking snow removal for a snowstorm that's not coming. And me and little man are gonna go watch some Friday Night SmackDown. So, Scenes.
Oh yeah, man.
You're fucking awesome. Thanks for coming on. Don't go anywhere just yet. Baz, obviously, you want to give your little sign off?
Whatever. See you later, people. Goodbye.
All right. I know. How do we turn off this fucking thing? We know. See you later, everybody.
All right, guys. Take it easy.